Controversial union leader Cathy Jackson has addressed what's known as Australia's most conservative industrial relations forum. Ms Jackson defended organised labour while saying unions should adopt a company-like structure to make the movement more transparent and accountable, effectively backing a recent call by opposition leader Tony Abbott. It's only the second time a union official has addressed the forum since it was established by former Treasurer Peter Costello and others in the mid-80s. Hamish Fitzsimmons reports.
To most union officials, this room would represent the lion's den, full of those wanting to curb their influence in the workplace.
To say the least, this is an unorthodox venue for unions to give this type of address. But my options for giving such a speech to an audience that might listen are pretty limited these days.
One of the aims of the HR Nicholls Society is to promote discussion about the operation and reform of industrial relations in Australia.
We're the only body that gives people, that examines IR issues and gives this platform. And we've invited her without any fetters whatsoever to tell us the latest chapters in her story involving the HSU.
Cathy Jackson is the first unionist to speak at an HR Nicholls Society gathering since Joe Thompson of the Vehicle Builders Union in 1990.
I love controversy. I mean, everything is bedded down and swept under the carpet in IR. We want things out in the open.
And Cathy Jackson delivered for her audience, again calling for unions to be subject to the same level of corporate governance as businesses, backing the policy recently outlined by Tony Abbott.
Particularly in the light of the HSU controversy, I believe there is a very strong case for extending to the full extent possible and applicable the same governance, investigation and enforcement provisions that apply to other corporations, generally those registered under the Corporations Act, to unions.
Currently, the Australian unionist with the highest national profile, Cathy Jackson has been at the centre of the Craig Thompson affair after accusing him of spending union funds for his personal use. And tonight she maintained a desire to right wrongs was her sole motivation.
Things really work out well for the whistleblower, and I didn't enter into my current endeavour in the expectation of arriving at glory days for me. My expectations are far more modest. I want to see wrongdoing exposed.
She's long been at odds with the HSU East Branch Executive, which passed a motion banning officials from consorting with the HR Nicholls Society, labelling it an anti-union hate group.
I've been attacked for agreeing to speak to you tonight because you are seen as the enemies of the trade union movement. Some of you are convinced that the market offers the best hope of the greatest good in all things, including the labour market. I profoundly disagree.
And earlier today, HSU General Secretary Michael Williamson bowed out using an email to staff, just as administrators moved to suspend all union officials. But the person seen by many as a reformer remains defiant, despite her peers' disapproval and the prospect of more damaging evidence to emerge against the HSU in court hearings. Hamish Fitzsimmons, Lateline.